Great. Welcome everyone to the Notary Act demonstration. We have Scott Keller here with us. His video is off, but I swear he's there. So I am going to turn the controls over to Scott. We'll watch for the Q&A and away you can take it.
Okay.
There he is.
Right. Marcy, I did bring the video on so everybody can see that I'm actually here. Let me check.
We believed you.
Okay. So good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Keller, and I am the Director of National Sales and Business Development for Notary Act. My first notary commission was in 2003, and I'm currently commissioned in both Oregon and Washington. One of the things that I wanted to also talk a little bit about is Notary Act. Notary Act was started by Lee Bostock. He is an attorney in New York, so he's a native New Yorker, and so he's excited that we're able to show this product to everybody tonight. And Notary Act started in 2012, and so it's been around for quite a while. Notary Act is an electronic notary journal, and what I want to do is I want to go on to talk a little bit about New York journaling requirements. Obviously, there's been some changes in the last month, right, Marcy? So the minimum requirements, as we understand it within New York, are you can have a traditional or an electronic journal, 10-year record retention. Records must be accessible for review. The first and last name of the signer or principal are required, as well as address, type of ID, and also satisfactory evidence of identity process. The other minimal information is date, approximate time, and location of the notarial act, and the type and number of notarizations. So how does that impact you as a notary if you were to use Notary Act? Number one, Notary Act collects the signer's name, address, and type of ID by scanning the signer's driver's license barcode. This makes it error-free and seconds away. Satisfactory evidence of identity process is a click away as well in Notary Act. And I'm going to show you an example here in just a minute. Date and time stamp are logged, and then you're prompted to save the detected signing location via GPS. In the document category, you're going to identify the type and number of notarizations performed, and that's another 2 clicks. Once you're done with that, your entry can be
I think you froze there a minute, Scott.
okay.
Oh, great. And I also want to just let you know, not everyone on the line is from New York. Either there are other states as well, just so that you're aware.
I'll explain that as well. So give me just a second, and I'm going to share my screen. And let's see, where are we here? Come on. Okay. Are we good here, folks? Okay, so again, right now, there's a big move with notaries in New York, and you have to have journaling for your activities. Now, our application is sold and used all over the United States, and there's about 6 states that do not allow electronic notary journals. But if you are interested, when you sign up for our 30-day free trial, we do also watch very closely what the requirements are within the state that you're from. So you've submitted your entry, and the entries are password protected. That's a requirement that the state of New York is requiring, as well as other states that allow electronic notary journals. They are forever permanent and will never be deleted, and they're retrievable at any time. Even if your subscription expires, we allow you to just give us a call, say, hey, I need access, and we'll give you read-only access to your entries. Okay. All right, so I am going to go and do a sample entry here. We're going to get this loaded. Marcy, can you see that okay?
Yes, yes, I can see your screen. Mhm.
Okay, so, and you see it where it says signer one, correct?
So you've not clicked over to that. You're still in your
Okay,
original.
I'm going to do a new share here. All right, you can see that okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right. All right, this is a sample entry.
Notary Act. This is a sample entry for New York notaries. The first thing we're going to do is press the new entry button. Then we're going to select the button up at the top that says scan ID to pre-fill. Guess what? There's all the information you need: name, first name, last name, address, ID type. It's going to be driver's license. And then we're going to do satisfactory evidence of ID. So the front and the back of the driver's license and all the pertinent information. Let's select that. We're going to go to Notary Act. We're going to select location. That's going to be found via GPS. Then we're going to go to the document category. And in New York, you are only required to take a look at, okay, I did acknowledgements. I did a total of 6 of those. And then the other grouping of documents that I did were all affidavits. And I did a total of 4 of those. We're going to put that down there. 4. And we're ready to go all the way to the end to preview. And here's all the information: first name, last name, address, satisfactory evidence of ID, Notary Act, location is detected. Then we have acknowledgement 6, and then the next set is affidavits, and we've got 4. Okay. Now it's time to submit. Have a great day.
Okay, so that is an example specifically for New York. And I also, for the other folks that are on, that are in other states, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, I don't have that up right now, but what I'm going to say is that minimal requirements are different than best practices. And so in this entry here, we were, and Marcy, correct me if I'm wrong, and I haven't heard back from the New York State attorney that I sent an email to, but my understanding is that no picture of the driver's license is required and no signature. Is that your understanding as well?
That is correct.
Okay, so there are some things that you can do minimally, but again, there's a difference between minimal requirements and best practices. And what I'm going to say is that in some of the firms that are using our product in New York, the title companies are saying you need to identify the document type and the type of notarization. And that's very easy for us to do in our application. And I wanted to make sure that everybody understands that there's a difference between minimal requirements in New York and best practices. And you understand exactly what I'm saying, right, Marcy?
Yes, yeah,
So,
thank you.
yeah. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about is how to add a new document into Notary Act. Because if you are doing, if you're planning on adding documents to your, to the application, I'm going to go ahead.
I started my business in 2011.
Oh, wait a second. Sorry about this. That's not my video. That's not my video.
It was really because the
Oh my
aesthetic
goodness. Hey, sorry about that.
to my brand.
I don't know
really
what
validated
happened.
My brand.
Hang on.
I do advertising through Quick to Instagram and to Facebook, which in turn bring lots of new customers as
I'm
well as
trying.
new
I don't know,
tabs on my
Marcy. Okay, I've got that stopped. Okay. I'm going to go back to screen share here. I'm looking for the right one. Hang on here, guys. We'll get this going in just a second.
Well, while Scott's working on that, does anyone have any questions that we can answer? Nothing yet? Okay.
Okay. This should short. Okay, now I'm going to go back to share screen here.
Scott, can you tell us what the pricing structure is?
Right. So the pricing structure for Notary Act is there's $29.99 for annual and $49.99 and then $89.99. For the $29.99 package, it is good for 60 journal entries. The $49.99 package is 120, and the $89.99 package is annual, and that is unlimited. And I am sorry that for some reason, this happens every once in a while, right, Marcy?
It does sometimes.
Yes, it does. And I'm trying to get this going here. Okay, so you know what? For anybody who needs these videos, Marcy, I will send these to you, and then if you would like to forward these on to the attendees, that would be much appreciated. All right.
Of course. Sure.
Okay. Because I value everybody's time, and I want to make sure that that I'm using time properly for people. All right. So barcode scanning can pre-fill signer information, and this is the type of information that barcode scanning can capture when you're scanning the barcode: name, address, ID type, ID number, ID issue date, ID expiration date, and date of birth in seconds. You need to add extra fields, but that's really easy to do. And one of the other things that's really neat about scanning a barcode.
Oh, I think we lost you again, Scott.
Okay.
There you are.
No, I'm back again. Living in the country has its fun things, and one of them is sometimes internet's connection. So barcode scanning. Really, what happens is when you're scanning a driver's license barcode, there is a good chance that the person who is giving you the driver's license doesn't have a fake ID. The majority of refinances, I remember seeing, Marcy, that 2/3 of those during that boom on refinances were done with online banks, not personal banks where you go in and fill out the paperwork. So this is a way that you can guarantee to a certain extent that the ID is valid. Okay. So Notary Act major features that are important for everybody to understand. We use AES 128-bit encryption. There's unlimited saving of non-uploaded entries if you're internet coverage. Journal entries are kept for an unlimited amount of time. Settings are customizable. In the signer category, there's 20 or more fields that you can add to Notary Act. The Notarial Act category, 7 fields. Document category, 12 fields. ID scanning to pre-fill signer information. Create unlimited document types, type of documents that you're using on a regular basis. All right. We had 4 inches of snow last night, and it's very windy today where I am. Okay, so one of the other features that Notary Act has is the ability to track your jobs by company, order number, fee, stamps, and mileage. And that for a lot of notaries is very important. Notary Act new features that are coming up. The ability to create document type libraries. So say, for instance, you're going in to do a seller's package. Rather than having to do those documents individually every time, you can build libraries of different types of packages. And you can drop those into your entries with no problem at all. Multiple draft entries. So if you have 4 assignments tomorrow, you can set most of that up even before you leave the house. Also, you have the ability to identify who signs each document. The other important thing to understand about Notary Act is the fact that you can identify who signs each document, but also we have what's called cross-platform compatibility, and that's coming very soon, where you're putting drafts together on your desktop. It's going to show up on your phone relatively quickly. And let's go on to the next slide here. Where's Notary Act accepted? The green states are ones that accept electronic notary journals. And we continue working with states who don't have that capability, but it's coming along. Most of the states in the US, they either require journals or they have no requirements at all. And so we work with people to allow them to follow their best practices. And that's something that's really important to us, to support our users and to allow them to be much more effective and organized in their business. Here is my contact information. Marcy has that as well. If you have any questions, if you want to take a screenshot of this and contact me directly, you're more than welcome to. Now, at this point, I am open for questions. So Marcy, do we have any questions?
We do, and I'm not a technology savvy person, so I'm probably not going to pronounce this correctly, but someone wants to know, do you support Linux or Linux and Ubuntu? What did I do?
Okay, I'm back, Marcy. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, do you support Linux or Linux and Ubuntu?
Those are operating systems?
I assume.
Okay,
That's
so
not-
let me.
Technology is not my background.
Like, okay, so let me address those. Our platform, if you load it on your phone, and that's where most of our people do their work, that's not a Linux system. If you're running the system and you're running reports, I've never heard that there were any problems with running it on those systems at all. But again, you have my contact information and you can send me an email and I will be happy to find out the answer for you. How's that?
So in terms of the app, can I ask a few questions? If you went
Yes,
over 1 month with your notarizations on the lower plan, would it automatically boost you to the higher plan? How would that work?
At this point in time, there would be a notification going out to you that you've exceeded your number, and then we'd have a conversation. Normally, if you're paying month to month, we would be letting you know that you're over your limit for that month. What I find is that people who are doing a lot of business, whether it's general notary work or otherwise, and you buy the $90 plan, you're paying for 10 months, you're getting 2 months for free. That works out to about 25 cents. So answering your question, Marcy, for the $89.99 package, it works out to about 25 cents a day. That I think is probably one of the best investments that any notary can make. Paper journals run anywhere from $25 to $35, correct, Marcy?
Yeah. So in terms of the journal itself, if a notary were to discontinue their subscription, leave, what happens to their information? Do you hold that? Is it stored somewhere? Does the notary have access to that again? Can they download it when they leave?
Right. So as best practices, we mentioned to our notaries that it's good on an annual basis to download their journal entries, and that can be done via Excel or it can be done via PDF. But if their subscription does expire and they need access because a court has asked for documentation, all they've got to do is give us a call and we'll provide that information. They'll have read-only access to all their entries for a period of time.
How long will you store that after they leave then?
Forever.
Okay.
And one of the things you need to remember is that we can see the number of entries that notaries do, but we can't access any of their records. And the way that it works is that for each one of our users, they have an independent encrypted portal with Amazon Web Services. And, I hope to gosh that those never go down, but it's there forever. And we don't charge. We've never even considered charging, but the idea is it's always going to be there. All they've got to do is give us a call if their subscription has ended.
And does the app work offline? So say they're in an area where there's no cell phone service, can they
Yes.
still input all the information and then it gets, I assume,
Right.
stored once they're back in cell phone range?
Right. So just to give you an example, if you were in an area that didn't have cell phone coverage, and this has happened to me multiple times, I don't ask to get on the Wi-Fi at the signer's home. What I do is you can go ahead and you can do all of your work offline. The only thing you can't do is you can't change anything in the menu area, but you can go in, you can scan the driver's license, you can get everything that you need to, and then it will hold that information on your phone until your phone detects internet coverage, and then it will prompt you the next time you log in saying, hey, you've got some unsubmitted entries. Do you want to submit those now or not? Okay.
And someone asked if they start out at the $29.99 for 60, and then their business increases to 120 notarizations, do they pay the difference between those two levels?
If you're on month to month, yeah, you'd go up to that, but all they have to do is give us a call, and we're more than welcome to work with them. But if they do move from the 60 to 120, all we're going to charge is an extra $20 for the rest of the year.
Great. And someone said they did successfully scan the information from their driver's license to Notary Act. Did anyone else out there have any questions? Oh, all right. So, even though New York State doesn't have the requirement for signatures, can they still opt to use that field in the journal?
Yes. So what you're going to see is that when you scan all this information in, you can take a picture of the front of the driver's license, because again, that as a best practice will identify the fact that you have seen the front of the driver's license and you scanned the back already. And then you can get their signature. Say, for instance, they use, and Marcy, you're aware of this, and probably not a lot of the notaries here are, in the state of New York, they allow, if you have two government issued documents with your signature on it, you can use that as a form of identity. And we have the ability in Notary Act to take pictures of both of those if the notary so desires to do that. We have a huge number of options in all of the areas, and once that folks get on the app, the training is available, and it's just it works great. The one thing that I do want to make sure that everybody understands is that there are 5 ways to satisfactorily show satisfactory evidence of identity. One is the signer and looking at the ID. The other is personally known to the notary. The other is personally known to the notary and one other witness. And you can also have two witnesses that are not known to the notary, but known to the signer or principal. So in order to follow that, what the state's saying, we have a specific area, and you saw it on the demo there, where you can pick which process you use. And that's very important for everybody to understand, because that's different in a lot of existing states. But Marcy, you may be watching this too. I'm seeing it in other states that don't have requirements yet, but the evidence of satisfactory identification is very, very important, and that's coming up in other states.
Great. Do we have any more questions? Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Scott, as well. We enjoyed having you. We appreciate the demonstration. If anyone has any questions going forward, you can certainly go ahead and message Scott. We are going to stop the recording. Vanessa's going to. And anyone who wants